Hello and welcome to the final series of Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy, and in the past you would have known that my co-host Greg Hirst would have been sitting to my left. Greg unfortunately passed away at the start of this year due to complications in surgery. He may not be with me today, but he's certainly here in spirit, and I'm sitting on his bike. So what we're doing in this final series of Temporary Australians is just remember Greg, the great man that he was. And today we're looking at the time he spent at the Troy Bayliss Expo. So please enjoy it. Greg's last ride.
The Troy Bayliss Motorcycle Expo in Melbourne is famous for all the new models that get launched here. But what I think is really cool is all the different things you find in the other halls and outside. The crowds have been fantastic today. Were you surprised how big they were?
No, not really. We were expecting a really good show here at the showgrounds. Everything that we've got going inside and out, we were pretty confident it would be a good show.
Lots of families and lots of riders too, a real eclectic mix of people.
We just wanted to basically bring the shows to life here in Australia, and everyone seems happy, and we've been getting some good reports back, and it's great to be involved actually with everybody now, not just known as a Ducati man.
You know, it's great to see some of the families here and kids, and you know, there's a good variety here from you know, mini bikes and scooters, and they've got watercraft here, they've got four-wheel ATVs. You know, obviously we're here with the Harley brand, so it's a great opportunity to showcase what the industry is all about, and yeah, bring those younger ones in, show them what the culture about motorcycling is about, and break down those barriers, those stereotypical barriers that are out there.
There's lots of things happening here with new bikes, but you've also got stuff which is just different. You know, the outdoor activity, and even that was different this year. And then you've got the other hall with a lot of older bikes and custom bikes, and it just is a great broad feel of motorcycling, I think.
Yeah, it's a really big mix, and even like little things like today, like having like Misha here, like the female like MMA fighter, and having the strong men here. It's just something different where the people can, you know, if they want to see that, they can go and see that. But it is really important to have like a very wide range of motorcycles, not just the new stuff, and we try and have a bit of a mix and bring everybody together. Having an area which has so many custom bikes in it, I think it's exciting to see that they're embracing that.
Well, you know, I think if you have a motorcycle expo, you need to cover all facets of motorcycling. I've got to say I'm super impressed with Yamaha, because normally they're just a quiet achiever on the side. They've come in all guns blazing. They've set up the biggest stand in the whole place. I was actually shocked on Friday. You know, we came down here and thought we'd just be sort of standing around and talking to a few of the other vendors, and the crowd was unbelievable, and they were very eager and very keen to, and we heard nothing but good feedback, so I was very pleased.
We have racing out there like flat track, but some of the people might come in here and not even be interested in that, but some of them might be, so you've got to try and connect them in a few different ways. Well,
I noticed the crowds were quite big out there for the outdoor activities anyway, so I think there's a good mix of entertainment here, and value. We've got enough room to do things, and it's nice when you can do that. I don't like being confined to too small of a space. I like to be able to, if we can do something, I'd love to put on an event with it. Do you feel that these sorts of events are important for the motorcycle culture?
Oh, absolutely. You know, to draw in the broader community, to, you know, show them what motorcycle lifestyle is all about, I think is so important for us as an industry. Just to get more people across the products that are out there. You know, life's short, so I say, you got to live it for today and not worry too much about tomorrow, because you never know what's around the corner.
If you have a look at a lot of events have been closing down, insurance is harder to get and so forth. So events like that, there's a lot of social clubs that are coming out as well. And you see a lot of different people at these events. It's not just your normal sort of crowd at a bike show or whatever. So I think Harley Days, expos like this, it's very important just to get the sort of the widespread and sort of be appealing to a much broader market.
Look at the people that are here, and it's, you know, it's early Saturday morning, you know, so they're obviously excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday, their day off, and come down and have a look at, you know, new product and everything that's going on within the industry. So that's good, and I love supporting Troy Bayliss too.
Now, what do you think of the Expo? I mean, you do a lot of these sorts of events. Are they useful to promote your charity work?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And we put the tent out to collect Yeah, that'll go back to Sids and Kids in Queensland, and which goes across to all Sids and Kids, which is now Red Nose. So they've changed their name from Sids and Kids to Red Nose. And no, I think the Melbourne show here's been really good. Today's been very, very busy.
Glenn, the Africa has done really well.
Look, it has. So the Africa Twin came in at February this year, so we just released it this year, and it started to sell well right from the get-go. It's a really exciting motorcycle for us.
Well, it's won a couple of awards.
It has. It's been really good here. We've won 2 Wheels Bike of the Year and 1 Bike Sales Bike of the Year here, so it's been really good for us.
Yeah, both of those are very prestigious in the motorcycle culture. Were you surprised that you won both of them?
Look, without wanting to sound arrogant, we weren't that surprised because the motorcycle has been such a good seller right from the start that we knew we were on a winner here. So it doesn't surprise me, but of course, we're gracious to accept it, absolutely.
There's 4 different criteria. It's fulfilment of intended design, quality of manufacture, value for money, and appropriate use of technology. And the Africa V Twin, obviously won Bike of the Year this year, and it came up trumps. And the big winner that probably got it over the line was the value for money, because it's a brilliant motorcycle for 16 odd grand.
How would you describe the Africa? What sort of riding are we talking about?
Well, this is a really important segment now in the market, the adventure touring segment. So it's people we're finding a lot of people that have been out of the motorcycle market have come back in, and this is the sort of riding they want to do, out in the country, away from the traffic, maybe take a partner on it and do weekend rides, and that's what it's proving to be really good at.
You've got the choice, you can stick to the highway if you want, but you can get a bit adventurous, obviously, if you want to do that. And we had the one with the knobbies on it, so we got up in the dirt in the hills a bit and had a bit of a play on it, and put it through its paces, what it's supposed to be, a dual purpose bike.
I did notice you smiled when you said that. It must have had fun.
We did indeed. Steve Martin and I got up to a little bit of mischief, but yeah, it's good. It does everything you need it to do.
One of the comments that we had from someone who saw a previous interview we did with you was that they thought that having a dog on the front tank is actually illegal, but that's not the case, is it?
It is illegal to have an animal between the rider and the handlebars. That comes under Australian Road Rules 297-3. But we fought very, very hard to get an exemption for Bundy, and we had to prove that we were safe. And Bundy's actually harnessed to me. She wears a harness. If I was to come off the bike, Bundy will come with me. Fortunately, at this point, Bundy's done 960,000 Ks incident-free. So we've proven to them that we're safe, both the dog and I. And Bundy's happy about it, and so are the people, Like, if we were to put Bundy on the back, I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think that's the safe place for a dog. I believe up the front is the safest.
Well, you can see when you're a rider what her movements are and adjust to the changing weight. I mean, even though she's a dog, she does change the dynamics of the bike, particularly around corners.
Yeah, Bundy will crank it. Like if she's standing up, and sometimes I can be cranking over with the pegs scraping on the ground, and she's laying down on a tank, then she'll decide to stand up, but it doesn't throw the bike out at all because her balance is so good. She knows exactly, just how to get up, and it doesn't seem to affect the bike at all. So.
Well, other riders that have got dogs as their pets and they want to take them on the bike, they can't just put them on the front. They're actually going to have to go through a process to apply for an exemption like you did.
They won't get it. They've told me straight out that you'll be the only person who'll have one because of the charity work you do. Like Bundy helps raise $500,000 a year for charity, but if you've got a dog and you want to take it on your bike, you can take it on the back, put it into a top box or whatever. As long as the dog's restrained on the bike in some way, then that's acceptable. But you can't have one between the rider and the handlebars.
Well, for many reasons, you and Bundy, you're one of a kind.
We're grateful for it, and it allows us to continue doing our charity work.
Paul, tell us about Honda Racing. How long's it been going?
Well, it's a very, very long time, but my involvement with Honda started in 2002, and since then it's evolved massively and changed a lot, as a lot of businesses and racing has.
So does that mean you have to travel with your teams, ride around the country to the events?
I try to attend as many events as I can with the road and motocross, supercross team.
Tell us about the standard of motorcycle racing.
The on-road series with Motorcycle Australia now is becoming really, really strong. They went through a little bit of a lull period there for a few years. I'd like to say that road racing in Australia is really healthy.
What's the standard of riders like now? Are we looking at people who can go into international competition?
Definitely. It just depends on what level of international competition you like to talk about. For any rider around the world in a domestic competition to run into, say, MotoGP, extremely difficult. I'm not saying that they couldn't be competitive. I'm just saying that to jump on and immediately make it work, extremely difficult.
What about transitioning into the World Superbikes, for example? Is that easier?
Yeah, much easier. But once again, it's still about getting into the right team. I believe a rider in a domestic Superbike championship like ours in Australia to move into a top team in World Superbike, I believe they would be successful straight away.
What are the crowds like at all of these events?
It just depends on the location and the amount of promotion they've done around the event. It is so difficult to get people to go to events these days. There's so much on for families, both the domestic road series and motocross. I know they're looking at ways to try and encourage people, families to go to these events, but you've got live streaming from events and stuff like that, so people can still stay in touch and watch it without being there.
With so much competition, do you think that there's a healthy future for these types of motorcycle racing?
Yeah, definitely.
Jonny, tell us about antique motorcycles.
Well, antique motorcycles is, a product of my passion. I've liked motorcycles all my life, and I ended up in the motorcycle business accidentally. I've been going as a business since 1988, specialising in classic motorcycles, and recently became an Indian agent. So we sell all the new Indian motorcycles. Behind us we've got an example of a custom bike that we've built for Indian. Yeah, we enjoy it.
You do a lot of custom work?
We do a lot of custom work. These days the new blood coming into the motorcycling world is young fellas that want to customise a motorcycle, and we like to help them do that.
You're saying you have a lot of classic bikes. What do you have on the showroom floor?
Well, we've got all sorts of stuff. There's about 250 bikes in the shop. There's classic vintage motorcycles. There's also about 150 bikes of my own that aren't for sale. It's my own collection.
So it's a bit of a museum.
Yeah, if you like, yeah.
Are they open to the public to have a look at?
Yeah, absolutely they are. And as you come into the business, you pass through the Naked Racer Cafe, which is our restaurant and bar, where you can get a nice cocktail, or you can sit down and have breakfast and lunch 6 days a week. So it's pretty livable.
So let's talk about what you're doing here at the Expo.
Okay, we came to the Expo to display a range of what we sell, and also we launched our two Indian flat tracker and cafe racer here today, and yeah, we're enjoying it a lot.
What's been the crowd reaction to those bikes?
Crowd reaction has been really good. I've taken quite a few orders. I was a bit shocked. What we're trying to get across to people is Indian Scout is such a great basis for any kind of bike that you want to build out of it. It's got 100 horsepower, ABS, fuel injected, and all you got to do is just let your imagination run wild. You can turn it into a wall of death bike, a flat tracker, a cafe racer, a board track racer, anything you like.
Round of applause, please, folks. That is something else. It's not often you get an opportunity to see something like this when it's first shown to a public. This bike was built by Pedro from Gasoline Garage in Melbourne, and it's the result of 12 months solid toil. It has been designed and completely built by himself and the guy who is signing the checks. What amount of check he will not say.
You've just got this bike unveiled here at the Expo. Can you tell us what it is?
Full handmade custom chopper motorbike built by Gasoline Garage. What you see is a rigid, sort of tailor-made for myself. Being tall, it's got quite a bit of a stretch in it. It's running a 96 shovel head engine. We've opted to go for the shovel head because more of that old school sort of culture. The engine seems to have a bit more character in it, just looking at it. And it's more suited for this look that we were going for.
Is it a riding bike or a show bike?
We didn't build this just to, keep it parked, you know what I mean? So I know it does look sort of difficult to ride, but that's what the bike's about, It's more of a hot rod bike, you ride it like a hot rod, not like a, it's not designed to go around corners, you know what I mean? For me, it's more about just having a, cruiser, just go for a nice ride, I appreciate this sort of stuff, you know, like I'm right into it, and for me it's just an amazing thing.
It's good to have it on show here amongst a lot of other custom bikes too at this expo, because I think this is a part of the culture that needs to get more publicity.
I definitely think so, yeah. Most of these people sort of appreciate this sort of work, you know, the workmanship, the detail that's gone into this bike.
Now this is your son sitting down here. You realise he's got to give it the seal of approval. Marco, what do you think of the bike?
It's one of my favourite bikes.
It's pretty good, eh? Andy, you've got quite a collection of different sorts of bikes here.
Yeah, it's a really nice sort of eclectic collection. We're going from really old stuff like this lovely old beast here, right through to scooters, custom bikes that have been specially made, and one-off bikes and race bikes. So it's really good to have a nice collection like this.
Is that what Shannon's does these days? It insures all of those sorts of bikes?
We can insure everything. Any sort of bike, doesn't matter whether it's a scooter, a box standard, a nice old beauty like this, or even the custom build ones like the Harleys here. You know, as long as we're told about what they are and modification stuff, we can cover all of them. That's what we're about.
So where did you get all those bikes from?
Most of these bikes, some bikes over that side are from the auction that we're having in 2 weeks' time. Other bikes belong to various customers or friends or people who said, yeah, we're happy to put our bikes on show.
Now, it seems that this hall has really got that sort of custom, older style bike flavour. You want to be part of an area like that?
Yeah, anytime we got like a good mix or the old stuff, we really like to be in there. That's the sort of bread and butter of the market. It's always nice to be in with all the new stuff as well, but the old stuff is where the history is. That's where you can see where these bikes are coming from. It's where all the eccentric characters are who own these bikes and ride them. You know, and that's what we want to be part of. That's part of the real biking culture for us.
Well, it's good the Expo is actually encouraging that, and I think that's an important part of the future. While there's going to be new bikes, and that's important, we can't lose the history and the sense of how broad the motorcycle culture is.
No, you've got to see where you come from. You know, it's like family and everything. You see these bikes, you see the new bikes, you think, that's fantastic, but where do they come from? You have to have these bikes come in first. You know, these are where all these ideas were developed. This is where the biking culture, shall we say, all started with these sort of bikes and the old ones. And it's still going strong. You've still got all these lovely clubs that provide all the things. The racing clubs we got, keeping up the old bikes racing on the track. Sort of sounds you don't hear on the road now. So that's all culture that we like and we should encourage.
So which is your favourite?
My favourite would probably have to be the Laverda, the orange Laverda. I'm old school Italian, like, you know, 80s when I grew up riding. So Laverdas, Ducatis, that's my sort of area.
Well, you'd be happy as here, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd love it here, yeah, especially on the Ducati stand on the other side. But that's a beautiful race bike, that is, and it's got a good British frame as well from where I'm from, so to me that's a perfect match.
It's been a few years since we were last at the Melbourne Expo, where we saw these blokes dancing with their motorbikes. Didn't happen this time round, but there have been changes. 2 years ago, when we had this discussion, Matt was stirring you up about you had to have some kids if you're going to raise them.
Yeah, he told me to man up, and it's about time I have some kids because I'm getting old, even though, you know, he's older than me. But yeah, it happened. Challenge accepted, as he said. So I've got an 8-month-old Freddie now.
Well, congratulations, and we're seeing a dynasty develop here, aren't we, fellas?
Yeah, well, we're both dads now.
Yeah, seen some of the stuff he does, you're just exhilarated by it.
Oh, mate, absolutely. He's a tip-up old bloke. He got his own little motorbike and a Polaris buggy in his truck, and I can't keep him out of it. He's constantly doing stupid, crazy stuff. I don't know where he gets that from.
Yeah, look, how are you recovering from your injuries?
Mate, I'm recovering all right. It's a slow recovery, slower than I wish it to be. But I'm getting there. I had my bone hip graft last week and in my jaw, so I finally got a bottom jaw now. Still no teeth till March, April. So I'm getting there, mate, getting there.
So you hope to be able to riding again, doing stunt shows?
Oh, the riding's not a problem, it's the talking normal's the problem.
Which is good, it's good to shut him up for a while. You normally can't shut him up.
Well, you realise 4 wheels are dangerous, don't you? As someone needed to explain that to you.
I got this motto in my head, with age comes a cage. So one day I'll get old enough, I'll hop off the motorbike into a car. How wrong is that?
That worked out for you.
How wrong is that? I'm sick of motorbikes the day I die.
He goes to me, of all the dumb we've done over the years on motorbikes, I messed myself up this bad in a car. It was, the irony of it all.
It is ironic, but I'm glad you're recovering, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. I died on the spot and I was in coma and I hospital for 11 weeks, but hey, I'm here and I'm lived for another day. I'll be back on the bike and in the car in no time.
It's just great to see that stuff again. And if you want to see more, temporaryaustralians.com.au. I'll catch you again next week for another episode of Temporary Australians, Shiny Side Up, and we'll see you for Hirsty's last ride. How was that, mate? I think he liked it.